Hey there, Tundra Nation, and welcome back to the channel. Today is Christmas. No, not the actual Christmas, but one of those late Christmas celebrations when your family from the other side of the country finally finds cheap airfare and can come visit.
That's pretty neat.
They usually bring you socks and some weird tasting chocolates, but not this year. This year, they brought you a fancy new European VHS. For those of you who don't know what that is, this is a movie about a Tavor vacationing in France, getting knocked up by a FAMAS and then banished by the family to Croatia. In a surprise twist, however, the baby was adopted by a family from the Midwest. You ever wonder what that would be like? Nope, neither did we. But the new European import of the VHS2, the Springfield Hellion, is here, and we're gonna try to figure that one out. So sit back, hit that subscribe button, tuck a mag of your choice under your armpit, and let's start the show. Starting with the obvious, the Springfield Hellion, well, it's ugly, even by bullpup standards. The Hellion is one of those guns that you see in a sci-fi movie where they take a FAMAS, make it more hideous, and put a bunch of plastic pieces from the Boba Fett model kit on it. Upon closer inspection, it turns out those were actually QD mounts and a series of takedown pins running up and down this rifle, as if the Hellion/VHS designers at HS Product got bonus pay for using more parts than necessary. Aesthetically, the Hellion falls into the same category as Rock Island, Turkish imported shotguns, and Keltec.
That's disgusting.
They did seem to do a good job with the color fill on the safety selector switch to catch the eye of the discerning G36 fanboys, since it has the same charging system and can accept those same magazines. Now, I will admit that changing the magazine well to take different mags is neat and an exciting feature, but I doubt it's going to be used often enough to be useful by anyone other than the FAMAS fanboy himself, Mr. Gun Jesus. Here is the real question, folks. Does the world even need another bullpup?
Nope.
I don't even get what the fascination with bullpups really is. I mean, yeah, sure, it looks objectively cool to some people, and the state of innovation in the other rifle platforms like the AR, well, that's not really in a much better state anyways, and they usually turn out to be pretty easy to build for ergonomics, but the Hellion's ergonomics aren't even that good for a bullpup. The length of pull is long already, and they added an extendable stock instead of a collapsible one because, hey, guess what? You can't collapse on a bullpup, so you're stuck with having it feel awkward either way. James Reeves has been recorded comparing the bolt release to pinching a nipple. And while I do enjoy a good twister myself from time to time, the range is not where I like to practice my foreplay.
Right.
Shut up, writer! The Hellion is completely ambidextrous, which is honestly a nice plus, but changing the ejection side is something one should only attempt at a well-lit table for fear of losing vital parts to the gun's operation. This gun can be shot from either shoulder without changing the ejection port, but the breast will just barely be missing your face. This is until you get a few rounds that are just a little bit hotter, and the ejection pattern now includes that little space right under the bottom of your iPro. Seriously, can you imagine going to change the ejection port and losing this cam pin out in a muddy hole in the field, and now you don't have a weapon? That's the mud test we want to see, Carl. Have an 18-year-old private try to change a broken bolt in a muddy hole with rounds and grenades going off all around him without losing any parts. I don't think I could do it, and he probably couldn't do it either. Here's the spoiler alert. The takedown process is way more complicated than it needs to be for a service weapon. Still, you Springfield fanboys don't care because it's finally a bullpup made in the United States of Croatia. Adding to the Hellion's woes, it was imported by our favorite poo-flingers, Springfield Armory. Hey boys, good to see you again. That's right, it is an import. If you listen, we can already hear ProMag and Strike Industries machine shops buzzing at full capacity to make aftermarket garbage that will not improve your horrible aim with the lousy trigger. It's been a decade since Springfield Armory supported gun control. People forget that, and they've forgiven them just because they chambered a few rifles in 6.5 Creedmoor, released a failed high-power clone, and kept writing grip zone on everything polymer they do except this rifle. I guess part of their contract with BCM for pistol grips was a no grip zone logo. Good on you guys, BCM. That's why you're cool. With the height over bore being so pronounced, I'm sure some home tactician is going to mount a riser on a riser for their optics so they can shoot this sucker tucked up under their armpit. The Hellion is the type of gun that your favorite VTuber would want to get and then lay it down right next to the body pillow that looks like their favorite gun tuber.
Oh, this is disgusting. What is that? Is that Branson? Is that a tap dancing crab demon?
This rifle is just a cyberpunk version of the FAMAS with some M-lock slots on it. If you see it at the range and some guy refuses to call it the Hellion and insists it's a VHS-2, they probably also have a CZ pistol with them and drove here in a Tesla. Just a reminder, folks, Tundra Tactical was nominated for a Gundy in 2 categories this year. Don't ask me how that happened, but it's the Breakout Content Creator of the Year and Most Entertaining Content Creator categories. You can vote 15 times per day each and every single day this month, and depending on what category you vote in, you could even win yourself a prize. Now that shameless bit of self-promotion is done with, back to the real reason we got nominated: orally defecating on guns everybody else loves. Now let's talk about the price, coming in at an MSRP of 2,000 American dollars? What? That's Steyr and Tavor money. It would seem that the Hellion is not the budget-friendly option the rest of the XD lineup from Springfield really is. And even that's not really that budget. I'd rather spend a few extra dollars to have an actual US-made bullpup, or at least one of the ones that are less complicated with a better track record than the Iraqi or Croatian army.
What?
Yep, you heard that one right. And since I don't know any battles that this gun's been in, I ask you, has anybody ever heard a veteran or a service member say, "Oh boy, if it wasn't for my trusty old VHS-2, I wouldn't have made it out"? No, you haven't. The Hellion is just another service-grade rifle that's pawned off onto smaller countries that don't know any better. I mean, they knew the Americans weren't going to field it, and neither were the Canadians. They did send it to France for military trials, and it did kinda okay. But we know the French weren't actually ever going to use it, even if it was adopted, because they want to use something made in their own country, even if it's not the best. P320, excuse me. I had a cough there. The trigger, like all bullpups, is longer than it needs to be, squishy, and comparable to a Sky pistol, and that is not a good thing, folks. The weight of the Hellion is coming in at a pound more than your standard M4, and you get no better performance out of it. Springfield, in their infinite wisdom, decided, why have a longer barrel with more velocity? Who's gonna want that? Nope, Springfield just kept the barrel length the same to match what the M4 does. Hot tip, if you're trying to outperform the M4 or 416, give it some sort of advantage that those rifle platforms do not have. Alright folks, lastly I'll say this. I've had a long track record of despising bullpups in every make and model. From reloading the rifle in your armpit to truly detestable triggers, I can't find a world where the minor benefits outweigh the seemingly massive downsides. With that being said, the main reason I hate this gun already without ever even having shot it is the fact that it's imported and branded as a Springfield Armory gun.
You suck.
We here at Tundra Tactical don't forget. Okay, that's a lie. We do forget a lot of things, but we don't forget what you did, Springfield, and we probably never will, unless the scotch finally gets to me. If I'm actually honest with myself, and there was a way to do it, I'd be way more open to buying this gun as the VHS-2 from HS product than supporting Springfield and buying it as a Hellion. I think that pretty much wraps it up for this week, folks. If you want more, check out one of these 2 high-effort videos right here. Don't forget to give the video a thumbs up and let us know in the comments down below why you think bullpups are the future and why we are too harsh on Springfield. Make sure to join us next week, folks, when we still don't know what the heck we're doing. Bye.